Alright, so, redid some stuff, and hopefully it's all good now. Maybe. We'll see for sure. See how exactly that does. Anyway, moving right along then. So, Reason Way. Over here. Probably just use the same team, because why not? Alright, Decurion Vance. This guy's actually one of the scarier fights. I would definitely have to say. Yeah, he's one of the few units that's both tanky, well, not both. He's basically tanky, has the ability to recover, has healing support and all that kind of thing. Not to mention you're also getting flanked, so 2 healers. That's a bit of an iffy situation. Looks like they're spawning in with defensive gear as well. So that's a bit of the harshness right there. And then, yeah, he's coming in with a tank build plus a reflect build. So this is about the worst possible window to get into this fight. Because, yeah, as you can see here, no avoid bonus on this thing. Kind of sucky defense, but reflect damage. So that's the whole shtick with this shield. But yeah, so he's still coming in with mail and a helmet, which is going to boost his vitality pretty significantly. Pretty much the idea here is just to, well, as per usual, bum rush everybody up to the front, and then, yeah, just try to go ahead and spam a bunch of Talon dives. So we'll see how that works out. We're probably going to have to do the whole thing with Cockatrices going in for Petrifies on the healers. As long as one of them, or rather, as long as both of them get Petrified, then we just plain don't have to worry about them again. Also, it just occurred to me I forgot to give Petrified, or, yeah, Petrification Breath to both of them. One of them is running Poison. Oh well. That'll happen as well. And, yeah, sorry for the kind of leaving and coming back kind of thing. The little program that I thought would go ahead and cause everything to run all nice and nifty-like again didn't quite do that. In fact, it turns out that it was one of OBS's necessary things in order to run, and, yeah. What I am going to do, though, is not run it in fast forward. I don't know why, specifically, that seemed to cause an issue, but it seemed to only start when I ran it in fast forward, so I'll just do this normally then. But I do potentially know how to finally take everyone's advice to just run this through normal OBS in the future. I just haven't really had time to set that up, because, yeah, potty training. But, oh well, oh well. Yeah, potty training and work and all kinds of fun stuff. You know, gotta adult and all that. It's never fun to go an adult. Okay. The nice part is we don't really have to worry about being caught by the zombie dragons very much, because, yeah, we can just outspeed them very, very handily. That's really the main thing that lets these guys even be viable. Like, if they went down to their, well, to their previous speed, they wouldn't necessarily be nearly as good. Oh, crap. Goodbye, controller. Didn't need you anyway. Man, aren't I clumsy today? Alright, no chariot. We don't need that. Alright. Are you within range of anybody? Not really. Really, my best option here would actually have been to buy some ginseng, and yeah, have both the longbows come in. Maybe not necessarily, but still, might have been an idea. I guess technically speaking, having the javelineers here doesn't necessarily help us very much. Odds are, if everything goes well, they won't even be necessary. Alright, there's that. Cockatrice is probably getting friggin' owned here. He's popping out regenerates. Hopefully Vance decides to run forward. He's actually one of the very few units in the game that wherever you encounter him, he tends to fight pretty smart. So he can be here. He can be. Let's see, what's it? He can be in the swamp. He can actually. I forget how exactly it was done, but somehow I managed to make him to survive all the way to the northern invasion bit once. And then he took the place of that dragoon that's up there. So you normally have this dragoon with a bunch of dragons. He was up there at one point. To this day, it was actually on one of the recorded runs, I believe. So, to this day, I have no idea how that happened. Because I know for a fact that he's, generally speaking, like, he's supposed to die on this road. Or at least somewhere in this region, because that's just kind of his spot, as it were. So, again, if anybody happens to know that information off the top of their head, like what exactly the circumstances are for making him show up there, I'd be really curious to know. Because yeah, just like many other games in the series, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that's like, I don't know how it happened, it just sort of happened one run. So, who knows. Off the top of my head, the only thing I can think of is maybe if you spare Gatalio, maybe that puts somebody else onto Chaos or something. Could be. Actually, that's not the guy I meant to shoot at, my bad. As you can see, the arrows will do nothing! Which is kind of why we need to hopefully overwhelm them, and unfortunately both the ninjas came in. What douchebags. What douches! But yeah, standard old overwhelm struts and all that kind of thing. So you go over here, we'll go start pecking away at these guys. Actually, if you can stun them, that'd be fantastic. Interesting thing, by the way. The reflect damage, different pieces and skills and whatever else, you can actually stack those. So you can make a perfectly viable, just like maximum damage reflect build. It's going to prevent them from doing pretty much anything else whatsoever, but it does technically work. So that's nice. You know, it's always nice when that happens. Alright, so you go ahead and pick this dude over here. In other news, a local large swarm of birds decides to eat priests. Nobody knows how to handle this situation. Suddenly everyone's an atheist. Yeah, they do quite a bit of damage now. That's all nice and well and hurtful. Then again, they really only do a lot of damage against beast units. That's the funny part. We may have a type of reset situation on our hands, though. Yeah, just might. Because I think, let's see, yeah, they're not going to get any healers, but they are going to get a lot of attackers. We're probably going to lose 2-3 Griffins here, something like that. Like, I will say the one thing that Griffins are kind of lacking from their original game version, and I could be wrong on this, but I believe you could actually give them avoidance. So if you give them, like, a dodge, 4 or whatever, they would end up dodging like absolutely crazy. But I would still prefer this version any day, because even though they can't dodge as well, they can still just, like, attack and move, because really, how exactly are they going to dodge? But, yeah. Right, if you guys could stop getting crits that give you just enough damage to finish them off, that'd be fantastic. Also, after so much time spent on OB64, I just can't look at Warlocks the same way. So every time I'm looking at them, I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be that same situation where they, like, can't do anything whatsoever. Unless you give them golems. Ah. Man. It's weird stuff. I don't know what they were thinking with the enchanters. Come on, finish them. Finished. Alright, so that's you done. I'm gonna put you right here. Actually, no, let's put you right here. So, so as to get in this guy's way. So if you peck away at the other healer. Now we're gonna need the archers. Oh, come on, please crit. Chicken won't be able to do anything. Longbow might be able to finish that guy off. And we're once again running into a bit of a lag situation. What is that? Why is it doing that? Alright, so Archer is out of commission actually, so we don't have a longbow. We only have 2 sidearm guys who at least can get tremendous shots. So, let's see, if they're able to get tremendous shots, if the other guys are able to do... that's not going to work actually. We'll see, we'll see. There's ways to do this. There's definitely ways to do this. And you, buddy, need some dodge in your life. Get dodging. There we go. Get him a little bit of evasion. Alright, as long as that healer doesn't get a chance to heal, this should be at least possible. Hopefully he stuns. Is this an Iron Man run? Not really. This one, I figured there's gonna be losses just because of what we're dealing with. So I was actually just trying to make it to the end. Because I'm curious to see just how far a no-heal run can go. The Vanilla Gatorade run was kinda sorta the same idea, but I figured this is a bit more interesting. Because to be honest, explaining the rules of the Vanilla Gatorade run was, it was a bit of a thing. It's like, oh, you can use some heals, but not all heals. Like, here's a list of all the things that can work, and it's all kind of iffy stuff. And it's, just go for something that doesn't have heals. How about that? So that's how this happened. Alright, please tell me you have Sprogmos or something. You just have Talon Dive. Okay, at least finish off this guy? Or go for something? But yeah. So yeah, definitely wouldn't recommend Iron Man on one of these situations where you can't heal at all. Though, yes, as per usual, I'm tempted to do that in the future. Because I can never say no to a challenge run, apparently. It's like that one friggin' anime character from Strong Bad. Can never say no to a challenge! And just like running around seeing everything as a challenge. It's like he goes up to a burger, is like, is this a food challenge? Basically that. Anyway, I believe Vance is one of the few that can actually item heal, so that's not great. But yeah, Vance, as his, basically everything about his character implies, he's one of the few smart people on the Galistani side. What's funny is that he doesn't seem to have come in with his weapon skill. So that's actually something that you see in base game too, where there's some leader units that just wind up using more of their abilities because they don't have kill moves available to them. So yeah, he doesn't come in with sword skill, but he does come in with crossbows. And in base game, he had the ability to... He basically just had a sword and crossbow, that was his build. So yeah, it's interesting that... oh, by the way, before I forget, Rakes actually mentioned the other day he finished going through the list. So he finished going through it all, and yeah, it sounds like he's going to be working on Act 1 as far as, you know, getting all the different skills and formations and loadouts and whatever else in there. And there was no timeline. It's still going to take a friggin' billion years, but still, it's out there. The list is found. He said it was something like 10,000 lines of code, but still, it's out there now. He has it. There's stuff now. It's coming. It's coming. Friggin' next update is coming. One of the big reasons that's got me excited about that, by the way, is because one of the things that he actually updated in his current build, that's not currently in any of the older ones. Oh, you're kidding me! You're kidding me! One of the few guys I have left that can attack, and he's just like sitting there getting stunned. Awesome. But yeah, no. One of the things that was coming pretty soon is the ability to use parry and deflect at the same time. So basically, it's a massive boost to tank builds. So yeah, the main reason for that, there were a lot of heavy pieces of equipment that gave you a deflect bonus, but by the time that you... Like, the weird thing was, with all of that deflect going on, most people still never equipped deflect on their tanks. Because, you know, they were going to be in the front lines, if they were getting attacked or whatever else, parry would end up getting ranked up faster, it would end up, you know, just generally being more useful in a lot of situations. So despite the fact that those bonuses made sense, very few people were actually making use of them. Yeah, that's a reset. Whale poo. It's not like that one guy getting stunned would have made that much of a difference, but what I needed is more cockatrices here. What I needed is more cockatrices, and probably to do more of a flanking maneuver, so we're going to go ahead and return to the front title. Rip Iron Man run! Anyway. It also would help if I actually made these guys the proper level. Just occurred to me I forgot to do that, so we're apparently up to 14, so let's go ahead and do this kind of thing. Let's open up the cheat file. Alright, you can just continue on. Alright. So what we need is 14 set in hex. So hex 14. Alright. So it looks like E is what we're going for. So let's replace that real quick. Save that. Then go back to the cheats, and go down to the level whatever cheat, and actually make them the proper level. Again, for those unfamiliar as to why the hell I'm doing this, it's basically just because I haven't technically gotten the classes naturally by this point. So this basically means that, yeah, my units are not getting experience for certain fights. So there we go, everyone's 14 now, fantastic. So we can go ahead and shut that off. And as promised, at some I was asked a while ago to go and show all of these cheats and what they all do and make a file of them. That's coming. I'm just kind of waiting on time to do that. So away we goes, back to the Raisin Way. Let's go ahead and save again. Just because we're 14 now and can actually reasonably keep up with the AI. Okay. Moving on. So. Who is injured? Also, sidearm guys, we don't really need you. Actually, that was the longbow guy. So we need 2 longbows. We need way more chickens. Although the chickens are looking in pretty rough shape right now. That's why I'm not using them, isn't it? Alright, Goose is fine there then. Let's move here. Alright, Griffin's going first. Chickens are going to be kind of skirting up the side. Griffins go up the front. Archers go up and try to harass however they can. Who else do we have here? 1 crossbows. No, I kind of want crossbows in this. No particular reason other than I just kind of want crossbows in this. So let's get 1 crossbow in there. Oh, and so you know how the other day we were doing OB64 and that ending was absolute hot garbage? So, basically what I decided to do is, at some point, I was thinking today, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm still not entirely sure on that, because I was actually thinking maybe Cereboma on tomorrow, because a new version just came out, like it just literally just came out like a couple hours ago. But yeah, what I was thinking is just kind of to do a timeline correction run, as I was going to call it, but just basic Iron Man kind of rolls. Just, if a unit dies, they stay dead. If the leader dies, the run's over. But the idea being just to go back with all the knowledge gained from the first run and, yeah, do a proper, like, casual but Iron Man run. So do it that way. For the sole purpose of correcting some issues from last time. Like, for example, a certain train conductor looking a-hole that kinda needs to be removed early. So we'll, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Whenever that happens, it happens, but just thought it might be pretty fun. Alright, let's get you guys flying way up here. Hopefully not getting shot down nearly as hard. Though there's still the possibility that the casters are going to go for them, though that will also leave them wide open to be eaten up by the chickens. We'll do as we do. Zombie dragons weren't that much of an issue. Really, the thing is just being able to surround everybody and control the fight a little bit more. because we couldn't basically we couldn't get the healers removed in time. They ended up getting a lot of attacks off early, and then they kept getting crits. On top of the fact that we were also underleveled by 2 levels, which again only matters for beast units. As you saw for the archers, it didn't matter; they were still doing pretty much expected damage. But the beast units are the only ones that actually scale their attack and everything else off their actual level and stats and that kind of thing, because there's really no other way to do it. I mean, the attack item that they're given at least lets them, make use of elemental stuff and all that kind of thing, and to some degree, it lessens the scaling, but it's still going to be, a problem as it is with every game. To my knowledge, no mod out there has ever managed to fix that problem for any of the games of the genre. Again, the probably the most egregious example I've seen was FFTAX, which, yeah, the friggin' one-shot fairies for like most of the game until they suddenly become harmless. So I don't know. I don't friggin' know. But what can you do? Alright. Let's go ahead and home in on those healers back there. The air squad coming in. Yeah, another thing I forgot to do last time is give everybody 1 tile of extra space. So if you didn't know, yeah, you basically get charged per tile, and I don't know what it is about that last tile, but yeah, if you just give them a little bit of extra movement speed doing it that way, you can usually get your attacks off earlier. And fantastic, look, double crits. It's great. It's just great. Though I will say in her case, it's not exactly unexpected. Because I'm assuming she came in with double regular katanas, which get a crit bonus on them. Yeah, looks like it. Alright. Longbows! Fantastic. Doing their usual longbow thing. Look at that, so underpowered. Takes 3 shots to kill a guy in, well, pretty decent armor. Big underpowers. Oh well. Alright. You just go for a little bit of extra damage wherever you can find it. And as much as I was actually hoping to quickly blitz through this entire thing, I'm kind of noticing that, yeah, we might only get like 2 fights in. Cause yeah, that reset. It's gonna be a little bit slower than anticipated. And yeah, if they could stop getting crits all the time, that'd be... How many crits in a row is that now? I think I might actually... If this ends up being another reset, what I'm gonna have to do is walk back and forth on the map a couple days, because I think they're having an extraordinarily lucky day. Which, yes, is actually a mechanic that can happen. Oh, and fantastic, they're dodging 80%. Seriously, what is your luck? It'll be a day like any other. Day like any other. Starshine Bright. Yeah, so she's got max luck plus, plus 2 crit weapons. Yeah, they're saying day like any other. I disagree with that, but they're still getting like a 6 out of 10. Whatever. Hang on just 1 sec. It is cold as crap. I need to make sure that the heat's up higher. Alright, and I'm back. So yeah, it's saying it's 73 in here, but dude, it feels like 40. Like, normally the cold does not bother me. It's one of those weird cases where, like, normally it's snowing outside and I'm out there in t-shirt and shorts and all that, but today was one of those few cases where I was like, yeah, this is a bit ridiculous. Alright, so... Let's see, 4 or 5 crits in that round alone? Yeah, that seems about right. Alright, these guys spawn in about the same. They came in with a slightly different gear. Alright. Don't know why exactly I went for a Sprogmos there. I was meaning to go for a Numbing Hook. Or a Talon Dive, rather. Man, switching between the two versions definitely gets you confused on what exactly is called what. Thank you for getting rid of the one unit that I needed for sniping things. I appreciate how you do that. But yeah, so again, I just want to point out, this isn't necessarily an Iron Man run, but it is a run where, like, if enough failures happen in a row, I'm probably just going to call it at that point. Because my only goal in this run is just to see how far these guys can go. And realistically, there's a lot of fights, especially like the Hanging Gardens and whatever, I just don't really see how they can do it. Just simply because the numbers aren't there. They've got too many units with too much defense to really realistically get by with doing this. Because, like, functionally the test is, like, okay, you've got relatively low damage, but high speed, high mobility. So you don't really have armor piercing that much, you don't have any recovery options aside from items, you don't really have that many support options, and all that kind of thing. Like, if I was running these Hawkmen as Beast Tamers, that'd be one thing, but I'm not, specifically running them as archers, just to have them functioning in that same role. But yeah. So we've got all that kind of stuff going on. Alright, come on, get stunned! And do we have a follow-up? We do have a follow-up. Good. Unfortunately, this has taken way too long, so I've already lost my range support. As I keep just barely surviving. So we've had to dedicate several turns just to dealing with these guys alone. Alright, come on. Come on, stop blocking everything. That was 43%, that was pretty understandable, but the other one where he's blocking 80%, that's kind of its own thing. Oh, also, there's one more thing. Later today, I don't know when exactly it'll be. Might be in the kind of afternoon slot kind of thing. I wasn't necessarily intending to make a whole part of it, but I kind of wanted to see. I got a few requests a while ago to see whether or not it's actually possible to do the whole XCOM 2 thing that I was doing ages ago. Because that run's still out there, it's still just sitting there. The only reason I hadn't streamed it is because every time I was going and doing recording stuff of it, I kept running into the same exact problem where it would... Crap, I'm just going to keep pausing on every single sentence, aren't I? Just went to the Obama School of Speaking today, apparently. Anyway, so every turn, or rather, every time that it would go loading and whatever else, it would just get stuck. So until I turned off OBS, it would just repeatedly get stuck, so I was basically cutting out loading times. So, unfortunately, that also meant that editing it took forever, because I had to go take out all those different bits, slap them together, then was trying to make it into a higher resolution thing, and then, yeah. Let's just say it took ages. Like, it took probably 3-4 hours alone just for it to process, and then it took like another hour or two for it to upload. So, I don't really... I don't know, it got a bit ridiculous. I think I got like 10 parts into that before I was like, okay, like this is taking way too much time. So that's kind of where that's at. Now, I never tried it with streaming. That it isn't directly saving it, I guess. So maybe it could work. So we'll try that out at some point. All right, where's Mr. Vance? It's time to start pecking away at him at the very least. I don't think we have the numbers left over to make this happen, but it's worth a try. crits definitely help. Not the return crits, but whatever, it helps. It helps. Let's go Aerial Resonance. Maybe we can make him a little bit weaker. No, that missed, but whatever. Whatever. Alright, Poison Breath. That would be amazing right here, especially because I have a follow-up. Hopefully it's not one of the dead follow-ups. Getting that weird lag again. That's a fantastic sign. Awesome! Definitely wanted to miss the one guy I was aiming for. Alright, what do we got? 99% hit chance or something with a 100% chance dodge? Yeah, 93%. Miss. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what? Maybe we got a chance here. Maybe. Would you like to learn Evacuate? I sure would. Too bad I can't. Oh well. Bear in mind, I also only have 19 units, or wait, 17 units going into this whole thing, so if they die, they die. So, yeah, that would also be the end of the run right there. Alright, you got Sparagmos on ya. Yeah, I'm gonna hit my own guy, but potentially... son of a dick. Really? Really? They never friggin' trigger their stuns. Why can't you be more like them? Alright, Pixie, you just sit there, because there's nothing for you to do. Okay, he's just gonna die. Fantastic, that's a lot of damage that just went away. Because he had a lot of TPs on him. He's gonna go for a kill move, so that guy's not gonna get charged up. Oh well. Again, this is why this fight's one of the harder ones. Like, it's funny because in both this and Vanilla, the same fight is difficult for entirely different reasons. Like, in Vanilla, it was largely because Mr. Vance himself actually kept coming in with healing, and he had all those other units that were really good at shutdowns. So while you could snipe him, he was a bit more durable than most other rune fencers. So he tended to hold up pretty darn well. Also, just notice these guys are leadened. That sucks. Alright, you want to go ahead and try and attack him? Yeah, especially if they keep stumbling constantly. We're not really gonna have the damage to do this. We had it. We definitely had it, but feels like the window's closing with every time they stumble. There, we've got a few attacks out there. Come on. Actually, I'm kind of wondering, what would a not a feather dance specifically, but something similar to like a Coco Cure from FFT. I wonder what that would look like on Griffins. Probably wouldn't be a very functional idea. Then again, Feather Dance might be... I don't know. I guess that never really made sense in Pokemon either. Yeah, this is so... Yeah, in Pokemon there's a move called Feather Dance that just basically reduces attack by a really surprisingly large amount. So there's no way this shot's gonna land, is there? Nope. Alright. At the very least, can you maybe target one of these ninjas or some such? Yes, actually there's a chance he can take one of them out. See if turning Hardware Transform off maybe makes us run a little bit better. Okay, perfect. That's one source of damage gone. Stunbringer is gone. Please, please, please don't get lucky. And he got lucky. It's funny because, yeah, 9 times out of 10, it'll be just like 1 or 2. The 3 is pretty darn unlikely. And still, he's gotten that multiple times now. Dang. Dang. Not gonna miss. Oh wow, it actually did miss for once. Okay. Poison. Perfect. And you've got a dive. Alright, alright. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. I'm getting somewhere. Only got 2 guys still standing, but as long as he doesn't item heal, which actually... If I do an interrupt and check real quick... I think originally he came in with, like, Field Alchemy 3 or 4, so... If that's the case, yeah, then he probably shouldn't have it. He's got Dark, that's useful. Clarity... he's got HP Infusion, he might go for that. Yeah, especially because he doesn't have a kill move. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? Alright, yeah, he's gonna kill somebody off, and then he's gonna go ahead and use the recovery, isn't he? Really? Okay, that's interesting. Alright. If Maverick gets another turn, which he just did, he can do this. Come on, Talon Dive. Hit this. If nobody goes up to save him right now, like if Poison gets one chance to proc, it's not really a proc, but if he gets one tick of Poison, he's dead. And that's all we need. Come on. Oh, why would you get a crit right there? Ah, that's annoying. If he hadn't gotten a crit, that probably would have been the end of that right there. Alright, let's try this again. Man, that is some nonsense. It's not technically nonsense, but whatever. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to risk the ones with Petra Breath this time. So let's get all the chickens in here. We might lose some, as you do. Let's get those in here. Let's see. I feel like the longbows weren't nearly as useful as the crossbow, because the crossbows were doing a pretty solid job of taking care of, the few ninjas that were causing issues. So we get all the surviving chickens in here. We get Maverick in here. Linkus over here. This way we should have more shutdown options available. And let's see. Yeah, I'm going to get one longbow in there, just for the sake of shutdown. Because if he's able to go and snipe the healer a little bit, like if we get them down to critical, then that should probably solve that issue. So yeah, Petra Breath. Yeah, Petra Breath is by far, of all the options that we have, it's by far the best one for crowd control. Which is definitely something that we're lacking right now. Gonna take a full first turn, but then gonna do shorter hops for the second ones. Now for the title, I keep wondering if maybe, just maybe, cockatrices are allowed to count as griffins. Is there technically a completely different thing? But at the same time, the game kind of treats them as more or less the same thing. In fact, in March of the Black Queen, you basically just upgraded them into a cockatrice. Though upgrade may not necessarily be the right term, because in the PS1 version, it was kind of sort of a downgrade. Like it just kind of depends what you wanted to do with them, really, because their stats weren't that much different. Like, if you transformed a Griffin into a cockatrice, you got a stronger frontline attack, and you got a backline attack that typically had priority, and would have, like, a roughly 15% chance of getting a Petrify right off the bat, which would take somebody out of that battle entirely. The downside was, yeah, it was like 15%. Originally, in the SNES version, it was like 50%, meaning that there was no reason not to upgrade them ever. See, can a Hawkman become a priest? Yes. But I'm only using archers for the sake of this run. But they can, I believe they can become clerics, sword masters, beast masters, archers, obviously. What else? We'll be able to take a look after this, actually. But functionally speaking, they can become anything that does not require or that can't use heavy armor. Like, I don't think they can become rune fencers anymore, or just fencers or spell blades, whatever you want to call them. I don't think they can become that anymore. They can't become warriors anymore. I don't think they can be berserkers, but don't quote me on that. And oh, they can be rogues too. So they're all fast and nimble, and they fly and everything. The logic being that, yeah, there's no way that they were flying around in heavy armor. Even though, technically speaking, they kind of were in earlier games. Whatever. It logically, again, this mod tries to make everything pretty logical and consistent. So, yeah. Come to think that, yeah, even when they did fly around in armor, it was always light armor in previous games. It just looked... They used a lot of plates, so they kind of looked heavier. But, like, for example, in 64, you got an exact example of what they like to wear, and it was always, like, just light vests and a helmet. Light vests, a helmet, and then an axe or a hammer. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to start pecking away at this guy early. Let's go for a peck. They're going to take a counter. That's fine. I want them to build up points. So they're going to do that. You're going to go after this guy. Hopefully make him waste his berserk. And once again, I'm getting a little bit of lag, but hopefully it doesn't stay that way. So good, I wanted to make the joke, do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Birdman? Well, I mean, he's gonna have a hard time being a Lord and Savior when he's busy being, oh, what is this? When he's busy being an attorney. But, yeah. By the way, that is the greatest reboot of anything. Just period. It's like, let's take this completely crap show from a million years ago, and just have him return as an attorney. Just a superhero retires to become a lawyer. That's great. Friggin' love Harvey Birdman. Man, that show is amazing. Especially the fact that they had Colbert on there, man. That just made it. Just made that show happen. It's kind of a shame that it went off the air. But what can you do, right? Can't have nice things last forever, or even long enough. So I'm going to go ahead and try to take out this Berserker early. There's a chance I'll get a move, hopefully not. But we'll see how that goes. Okay, so they're not critting as much. Oh, interesting. That guy just came in with one sword. Alright, so they're trying to envenom, but what are we looking at here? Right, yeah, so you just came in with a single long knife. What about you? Yeah, you still came in with your double swords. What do these guys come in with? Decent armor, okay. They're acceptable. Personally, my favorite build for clerics is still like just leggings, helmet, and shield and claw, just because that gives them a pretty good amount of options. All right. So, longbow, crossbow will be able to finish this off, or no need. Fantastic. Fantastic. So I will say, up until the kind of the entire rollout of all of the different revisions to all the different fights and everything, you're still actually going to see a lot of units, like for example, like warriors as birdmen and things like that. So you can technically hire them. It's just you can't make them because all the heavy classes were removed. It's just the game has them in there by default. So yeah. If you want to take advantage of that, that's technically an option. It's there. Alright, assault. Good. Feel like we need to take out this ninja as well. So yeah, you're the next threat, so you go bye-bye. Nice. Nice crit. I like to see crit. Crit is friend. Hopefully you have Petro Breath. Hell yeah, you got Petro Breath. Get rocked. Yes! Alright, it's one healer gone. What about Spitfire? I think you're the other one with Petro, ain't ya? Nope, but you got poison. You know what? Actually, we could just go for this. Or I guess we won't. Fine. Just be that way. Let's go after her. Peck. Or not. Definitely in the or not category. You got Talon Dive, you got Talon Dive. Please Talon Dive. Good job on Talon Diving. You have Talon Dove successfully. That's the reason I was taking a chance to go after Vance. No amazing rhyme intended there. But yeah, I figured that they would go after that Berserker back there. So the only one, in theory, that should be able to de-stone that guy is the other Cleric, and he's probably going to be a bit too busy with healing. So, yeah, that healer should be out of commission for at least, like, 3-4 rounds, give or take. Something like that. It's typically going to be, like, 3 to 5. You can typically go with, like, Pokemon rules for a lot of the debuffs, but yeah, some of your more minor ones last from 1 to 5. For your stronger ones, they typically last 1 to 3, sometimes a little bit longer. Like, for specialized classes, they may last a little bit longer. Like, for example, if you have a priest that goes and, like, let's say they get, ooh, that might be an option right there. If you have a priest that's, you know, going up to an undead thing and turning them into a rock, they're gonna stay that way for, like, 10 rounds. Whereas if you have a caster doing that, they may only last 1 to 2 rounds, so I think for a Cockatrice it should probably be around 4. Something like that. Just basically, the better they would logically be at turning something into whatever it was that you needed them to do, the better they're at it. So, yeah, there we go. Anyway, Petrify. Petrify is good. It's just going to do damage in this case, but that's fine. Thankfully, they can just keep stacking damage, so whatever. Alright, you can go for one amazing Sprogmos over here. Guess what, everybody? Say hello to damage population to your face. Goodbye. Okay, that's all their healing shut down. Going way better this time. Alright. You want to go ahead and bite this dude? Bite this dude! It's your prerogative. Guarantee you, as soon as I put this up in 2 parts, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 people that leave off of YouTube. Like, oh man, how dare you not splice them together? The answer is, that would take time, and I don't want to, so, meh. Alright, let's go here, poison this dude. Of course you stumble, you dick. Probably the big question is why I didn't come in with Stun Ward for this one. And technically speaking, I didn't have the points, so I guess there's that too. Okay, Talon Dive. We're almost done here. If that one there hadn't gotten a bit ruined, might be in a bit of a better position, but oh well. Alright, you got a tremendous shot. I believe you're the longbow, ain't you? Yes. Okay, so can you finish this guy? Almost. Worth a try, though. He shot that guy so hard he exploded. Beautiful. Beautiful. Interesting, by the way. If you end up running into a zombie Cockatrice or a zombie dragon or whatever else, which I'd be kind of curious to see if they actually would give me experience. But if you run into one of them, Subdue works just fine. So yeah, for boss units, or not for boss units, but for beast units, dragon units, all that kind of thing, you can use all the regular skills on their zombie version. But if you were to, say for example, go to a person, you need to have a completely different skill for that, for some reason. Also, zombies and, fairies and gremlins can't become zombies, so yeah. I don't know why, but they just can't. So you never see a zombie version. Alright, can I attack now? Can I have a turn now? Thank you. Alright, please peckify this guy. Peck, peck, peck. Excellent. Alright, and you go peck away at this one. Dead! Okay, fantastic. Fortress, yeah, you guys only need to do a little bit more damage now. Come on. As long as he doesn't remember that he has HP infusion. And the weird part is, they will only use it on certain turns, and like, I'm hoping down the line, maybe there will be a hex code figured out that will possibly explain the mystery of all this, but basically the way it goes, they seem to go by ticks, so, like, oof, that's not great. Yeah, just finish off that guy then. So, like, for example, they'll, like, for the back row one, it's like, on one turn, they will be okay to use all their abilities. On their next turn, they won't be able to attack. On their next turn, I believe they won't be able to heal or something like that. It's like they seem to have a certain rhythm that they follow. And so I'm wondering if maybe because this guy set to his back row thing or whatever, there's just certain turns where he won't be able to use his HP infusion. Because I have seen the AI use it. I know that they can use it. And it's weird that he hasn't been using it so far. Because he's been in, like, he's been in critical and all that, and he's just like, no, I'm fine, don't worry about it. It's okay, I want to save this for Brimstone Hail. Which, yeah, in, I guess yeah, there might be specific AI patterns given to certain units or something. Because in the original, that actually made a pretty decent amount of sense, because, you know, if he healed himself, whatever, he'll just get damaged again. But if he used a Brimstone Hail, he could potentially wipe out large numbers of units at the same time, so there's that. Anyway, also, Sprogmos, goodbye Ninja, goodbye Dude Guy, and there we go, it's a win. Checkmate. Like, oh, when our army gets here. But they won't. Hello there, Mr. Cowman. How's it going? Came in to see birdies. Also, are you printer copying food for a dog? Is that what's going on there? Alright, so we got that saved. Crit and I. That's the second Zabos fight yet. We'll see how that goes. Realistically, bear in mind there will be, like, eventually we'll get to the point where it's just completely undoable. so yeah. Anyway, let's go back to town real quick, because I want to go pick up some stuff. Go in retreat? Sure do! Alright, first things first. 4 of these. Can my archers use these? I don't think so. No, so we'll leave that as it is. Alright, moving on to Koritani. There we go, see that guy. As do. You know what? Let's go Griffins on this one. Sounds about right. Oh, and I forgot to check if they can become clerics. My bad. My bad. It doesn't matter. We just have to go friggin' take down Mr. Oregano over there. No problem. Mr. Orgeau. Also, we get a sweet crafting book out of this one. An interesting bug that you can actually accomplish only on this map to my knowledge. With Orgeau, if you actually kill him and knock him off of, I think it was right... I don't know, it was one of these water tiles. One of these water tiles, inexplicably, like if the leader specifically gets knocked off the ledge and into the water, on one of these specific tiles they will fall through the map, which, you know, who the hell does that? Obviously that wouldn't come up in testing. But yeah, just in Rakes, in case you happen to be here, maybe that might be a bit of an idea to give the leaders in this particular map steadfast, because that's pretty much one of the only ways that I can think of that you can miss the the Codex of Gems, which you kind of need to make a lot of items later. So Codex of Gems is kind of a prerequisite for all 4 of the jewelry books, a prerequisite for a lot of the later game weapons, prerequisite for a crap load of things. And yeah, one of my best runs, actually one of my no incapacitations run, I ended up just not having it because of that weird bug. And I didn't even realize at the time, like, he just fell through the map. I'm like, oh, haha, he fell through the map. And then I realized later, like, where was I supposed to get the Codex of Gems from exactly? And then I go back and I look at it and it's like, yeah, crap. That's a bit of a problem. I mean, plus side, it's not technically missable. You can just go back, but still, you know. First time through, may not necessarily know that. Might end up a little bit on the screwed side. As you do. Yeah, so... Yeah, the heat just went off here saying it's at 75. It does not feel like 75. It doesn't even feel like 70 or 60 for that matter. I don't know if it's because I'm right next to a window or what, but man, it is cold as hell outside. Also, be right back real quick. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, had to go check on the kiddos just to make sure everybody's still sleeping okay, and yeah. Apparently they're really sleeping in today. I'm gonna have to... Still, probably at the end of this part, I'm gonna have to go ahead and just call it. Because I really don't want them sleeping in too late, because then that's gonna mess up their nap time. You know, dad worries and all that. Wow. These guys have deflect for days. So yeah, like I was mentioning earlier with the whole parry and deflect thing, the only reason, technically speaking, with deflect and parry being exclusive in earlier versions, like the only reason that you would have gone for one or the other is if you knew you were going up against crossbows, which, I mean, crossbows, yeah, it's very useful to have deflect against. Like, if you have high weapon skill and deflect, it ends up being a bit more useful than, say, you know, high weapon skill and parry, because you can just dodge most of it rather than having to rely on a parry. And in base game, it ended up making sense because you could get that deflect bonus off of a few craftable shields earlier on, which, I mean, you could do the same for parry. But because of how OP ranged weapons were, you know, having deflect was oftentimes pretty useful. Like, my favorite unit in my most recent Iron Man run of that was basically just... I just called him my guardsman guy. He was just... a guy that trained as a knight, then as a Terror Knight, then as a swordmaster, and then yeah, just went back to a basic warrior. And yeah, the guy was just running a Aspis, an upgraded Aspis helmet, and an elemental vest with the Lombardia and a ring of evasion. And yeah, was just running high evasion and deflect, which, yeah, he was kind of lacking on the damage front, but then, you know, he got double attack, so just basically triggered double attack, kind of double slash everything. It worked pretty alright. But yeah, no, he was definitely one of my favorites. I always love weird builds like that, you know? I just really, really, really love defensive builds. Anyway. So yeah, Orgeot, as you can see, nowhere near as tough as Vance. So, I'm largely considering that this has less than no odds of being like the second to last fight for this run, because if I recall correctly, Zabos is the next one here, and yeah, I'll be honest, Zabos is one of those ones that light units are just, they've got nothing to deal with that. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. But I kind of had a pretty decent expectation that it might end here. Just to kind of have that information out there. And I should mention that, yeah, base game Griffins would have had the exact same problem. So it's not a mod thing, it's just Zabos is one tough SOB, so yeah, and I don't mean tough in terms of like, oh man, you know, he's got all these cool moves and everything. I just mean like, the dude can take a punch, and you can tell by the fact that his face looks like a dang hamburger, so... But there's that. Alrighty, what y'all gonna do? That apparently... You know, for the life of me, I can't actually figure out where the whole stereotype of Dragoons having spears comes from. Because, okay, so throughout the series, they technically were kind of sort of a thing in March of the Black Queen. Except, yeah, they only used two-handers. And then you had them in OB64, and same thing, you specifically could only use two-handers with them. Then you had them, like, I think it must have come from Night of Lotus or something, because... I mean, you had them in what's it, in the original Lux, and they could kind of just use whatever there, but I don't know why they specifically decided to specialize in spears at that point. Like, I guess on an infantry level, it sort of makes more sense. I don't know. Like, as much as it's kind of assumed to be a series norm, they just didn't do that for a while. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Alright. We're getting there. Come on, Orjo. Thank you. I was kind of hoping to show that knocking off the bridge glitch, but oh well. Oh well. Sparagmos, do it. Actually, wait a minute. I don't think it was here. I think it was actually that middle section. Because there was some... I think the only reason that I ever found it is because in base game I tend to fire from the bridge a whole lot. So I think that might have been from there. So yeah, let's see if this is the final part. Because honestly, if it's one of these cases where we can do like 1 damage to Zabos, it's, you know, it's just going to be the end there. Alright, Spitfire. Yeah, I think you're the other one here. Let's bring in all the chickens, because I need that chicken power. And away we go. Okay, no, it's Helionaire, so it's possible. It's definitely possible. In fact, it shouldn't be too difficult. She is definitely one of the tougher ones too, but yeah, Zabos is the big scary one. So she goes here, then we go for the other castle, then Zabos is in Almoric, I believe. So then that would be the actual end of the run. More than likely anyway, because even heavy guys tend to do like 30-40 damage, or like a friggin' Warhammer. So, yeah, I'd imagine the realism of being able to like take out the entire rest of the team and then somehow plink him down 1 health at a time is just not quite there. And yeah, it's specifically only command units that have that kind of thing. So like in a lot of the other runs, you see this exact same team, except Zabos is here in the darkened out castle. It's all dark and everything because the lights are out, because it's all symbolic for the fact that they're dying, despite the fact that there's lights right there, but, you know, we'll just ignore that. So first order of business, get back in there and deal with the healers, then deal with everybody else. Hopefully trying to skirt along the sides here so that they can't attack everyone. Now I'm going to try to stagger out their turns as well. So some are going to take full turns, some are going to take short turns. You're going to take a short one right here. I'm going to take a short one right here to hopefully target them forward. I'm going to take a long one here. So yeah, we had a bit of an interesting situation yesterday. So basically heat goes out, or rather the water heat goes out. So we're just noticing throughout the day, like, there's water, but why exactly does it keep getting colder throughout the day? And so I go to check on the water heater, and it turns out some valve or whatever exploded on the dang thing. So I'm going trying to turn the pilot light back on, and it's just like spraying water all over the place, just pooling up on the bottom. So yeah, I mean ultimately they did get someone out here pretty quick to fix the thing and drain out all the water and everything and fix the valve, which I guess must be a pretty regular problem that he had a pile of them with him, but you know, it happens, I suppose. Still though, I always gotta appreciate when they come out on a Sunday. Definitely, you know, always gotta thank maintenance people that are willing to do that. You know, there's technically speaking, not like aside, they usually won't end up getting paid too much extra to even do that kind of thing, but still. Alright, so what's going to decide this is pretty simple. Let's get one unit right up to Apollinaire there and see how much damage they can actually do. Okay, so 25, so they're going to need at least 16 hits to be able to do them in. Do they have items? Okay, they don't have items, so it's technically possible. It's just, yeah, they're taking twice as much damage in return. She has more health than everybody, so that's going to be an issue. We'll see. What about a Petro Breath up here? Get them out of the question. Nope, didn't quite work. What about you? You got one in ya? This music feels weirdly fitting for this scenario. Yeah, they do absolutely nothing to her. This isn't impossible, it's just unlikely. Alright, those crits are helping. Because, yeah, they're just going to heal this damage right away. I'm just trying to box her in right now. Okay. Go after this one, distract their healing. Those four will focus on her. Perfect. Didn't get a crit. Exactly like I wanted. Let's continue moving everybody else to attack the back line. Like, even in the best case scenario, we're still probably looking at a situation where we're going to be taking some losses. He can't do much, and he's probably going to go down next round, so at least take the archer out. Okay, she's just going to go for a basic heal. That's perfectly fine, actually. You know, I almost wonder sometimes if they only use items just to try and get their healing AI to, you know, go heal who they actually should be healing. That's a pretty reasonable assumption. I don't know for sure. Anyway, you might be able to crit this archer down. Crit? No. No crit. Worth a try, though. Because yeah, if they had crit, they probably would have done around 80 to 90. The fall probably would have finished them off from there. That guy just did something incredibly helpful. Yeah, look at that. He actually might have made this reasonably possible. Especially if this one runs over here and bites this one for a hopefully not crit. There we go. See, she's at super low health now. The healers are going to heal her. This actually might have just been possible thanks to very helpful Berserker over there. Yeah, look at that. Talon dive, Talon dive. We only need one more, and it's a win. That super unlikely just became incredibly likely. Yep, there we go, 100%. How about that? Ah, no, not glory. That guy's sitting there like, man, I just got myself demoted pretty darn hard there. On account of my entire country just got deleted. Alright, so yeah, at this point Galaxy Sand disappears. They just get folded in to the Wallister, more or less. Because that stuff just sort of happens overnight, apparently. We get Glitchy Denim talking about the weather. Okay, so now we go save Vice. So you actually get 2 routes through this one. And contrary to what some bits I've seen say, honestly, it doesn't matter which one you take. Because I saw some guides out there that said if you go for Sanji directly, then Vice just dies. And that's not the case. And Bordeaux has a crapload of zombies. Although, it only has a Necromancer as a leader. Screw it, that'll be easier. Glitch Denim looked shocked that they took over the keep. He always does. It's fantastic. Friggin' love Glitch Denim. It just looks so goofy. But yeah, that's not something you'd normally ever run into. It's just what happens when you give Denim a Griffin sprite. Because the game doesn't know what to load in, so it just tries to load in whatever's there. Okay, so Munzer has no health. So they're all just gonna fly up there, bite them in the face a few times, and that's all they really need. I mean, to be fair, he had every right to be shocked. There really shouldn't have been a reason that we won that fight. It's just that that one Berserker came in and gave exactly the ones that needed it, their Talon dives, so they could just punch through her defense all of a sudden. She was putting out twice as much damage as she was taking. And odds are, if it wasn't for that, they would not have been able to just peck enough damage to be able to prevent her from being healed. There was the option of just continually distracting the healing, then whittling down their healers back, which would have worked. Eventually, probably would have taken some losses, it would have taken a while. Also, I wish I had brought my dude that can do Subdue here, because we finally get a chance to get a Cockatrice. Well, poo. It would have been nice to get a Cockatrice here so that I could get that glitch to go away, but whatever. Have them all fly up here. It's probably going to take maybe 4 pecks to do in the Necromancer. Thankfully, their armor choices kind of suck. So there's that. They can only come in robes and stuff, because they gotta appease the undead. Actually, back in March of the Black Queen, they had a pretty interesting thing as far as that goes. Because it actually kind of okay, so there's a bit of an implication in Black Queen that kind of carries over to this one, where they're basically saying that, yeah, when there's necromancers and stuff, they actually gotta try and be, physically appealing kind of thing, because they legitimately actually have to catch the interest of whatever dead things are there. I guess zombies can be horny, I don't know. But point being that, yeah, like you see in this one, they've got the whole weird cleavage shirt thing going on. So in Black Queen, they specifically had an unusually high charisma requirement, and so that was kind of the weird thing that came up when I was doing that run, and why there was the joke of the extraordinarily uncharismatic Rick the Necromancer, because yeah, getting him to be one of those took a really long time. Because yeah, you basically need a really low alignment but really high charisma, and both of them are affected by the same things, essentially. So, very difficult thing to actually pull off. But yeah, ultimately it gets you a Lich, so that's nice. Although, yeah, you know what? It's actually pretty well hidden, I have to say. Despite the fact that they told you how each of the classes are made, I do feel like they ended up doing the classes just right in Black Queen. Except for the Princess, because that was just OP, but basically what you had was, you had a guide that came with the game that said, okay, look, here's exactly how you get all of the classes. It was like every single one. And yeah, good luck with that, because the items are randomized, so you won't necessarily get the class items that you need. The requirements are kind of difficult to achieve, because everyone's stats are constantly sliding around all over the place. And yeah, despite the fact that you have all that information on hand, it's, you know, it tries to still make it difficult, which is nice. It's nice. I like it. I like Black Queen a lot. I feel like it's a perfect one for doing weird runs. Actually, right now I'm trying to go through it again to try to get a decent ending. So, by the way, cover your ears real quick if you're, you know, if you're kind of wondering about being spoiled about Black Queen endings. You know, for that, like, 20-year-old game or whatever. Which, honestly, the way that they all play out, I would absolutely recommend just playing it anyway. Even when you know that the endings are there, they tend to take you by surprise. Like, for example, I knew, and here's the spoiler here, that the Saint, you know, the Saint King guy, friggin' Tristan, I knew for a fact that there was an ending where he has you assassinated. And I had no idea how it actually played out. And yeah, wound up getting that ending last time, which required not exactly, like, I bottomed out my character's alignment, but managed to get their reputation up like 25% of the way, which is apparently how you do that, because they basically are in a situation where it's like, okay, they're not actually a bad guy, people kind of like them, but I also want to take over, you know, but we know that they're evil, but people kind of like them, so I guess we got to get them out of the way, is how that ending kind of logically justifies itself. So yeah, it's just kind of funny, because he's like, hey, how's it going? You know, Lance, go ahead and stab him in the back, please. And he's like, yeah, I really don't want to. Do I really have to? He's like, yes, you have to. He's like, okay, fine. And then he just stabs you in the back. But yeah, I don't know. It was just funny how awkward everybody is about it. It's pretty great. Alright. Spider moves. You know, Talon Dive, yes. Yeah, this would be going a lot faster if all these attacks would stop missing. Would be kind of nifty. Actually, in fact, for missing it, screw it, you get Sporogmost. Because we gotta get some dang damage on this guy before he gets a chance to do anything. Alright, you sit there. Come on, one of you three surrounding him. And dead? Yes. So there's that guy gone. And then that leaves the port. And then that leaves the castle. Actually, no, it leaves Tynemouth and then the castle. Okay, first things first. How do I make 15 into a hex thing? Looks like F. Okay, so make that code into an F. And I probably, you know what? Dang it, it's so close to the very possibly end. In fact, I'm actually just going to call it there that, or not calling the end of the thing just yet. Going to do Tynemouth real quick. But I'm going to say that, yeah, I don't necessarily see how Zabos can be beat, so let's go ahead and load it. And then save it. There we go, got our level out of it. Gonna go check up on the kiddos real quick, and I will be right back. Alright, so, due to lack of time and due to the fact that Zabos is the next boss and is going to be functionally invincible to these guys, I think the choice is obvious. Friggin' last boss is going to be Gamp, how about that? Alright, let's make this happen here. Is it hypocritical that Gamp is attacking the squad? Very. But you know what? Maybe this was just like the traveling squad that he's always wanted to recruit this entire time. Maybe he's a fitting last boss, you know? Yeah, Kiddo's being funny in the background. Like over there, like, just with a bunch of Cheerios. It's like, I want to eat these Cheerios, but I also want to throw them. Having this angry conflict. Just pick them up. You're all good. Ah, God, that kid's so adorable. Can't be mad no matter what. I gotta swear, there's those moments where you just like, you wake up, you find out that they just like dumped all the clothes out of the dresser, mixed them up with all the clean clothes that were sitting waiting to be put away, you know, took fish food, dumped it all over the floor, you know, had a crap diaper that they smeared on their bed, and then they're just there smiling. It's like, man, I can't even be mad. They're just too cute. Anyway, so yeah. You know what? I don't know. I don't know if it's hypocritical or not, but yeah. Gamp is just Gamp seems like a pretty fitting last boss of this. You know, it's like one of them more old-timey Disney movies. He was just over here trying to capture everybody so that he could get all these different animal slaves and everything. He was actually a bad guy the whole time. I think it makes sense. But yeah, this run was never really, you know, like as much as I was saying so earlier, after doing a little bit of testing in the background, it's just, there's realistically no way it could have gone all the way to the end. Definitely gets farther in OV than the original, I feel. It's like, the whole reason I never wanted to try this in the original is because it would just break down into just sitting on the corner of a map and chucking rocks at things forever. Which, yeah, that crap gets boring as hell. So yeah. I would say that, yeah, these guys hold up pretty well up until Chapter 3, in terms of being able to fight everything out on their own. But either way, with the announcement that potentially different chapter changes are coming, you know, there will be a Griffin run in the future where I try to do the entire thing. So yeah, the thing is, I need to figure out how to get that glitch to stop happening. Also, hang on. Those lovely moments where we dump a whole bunch of Cheerios and then get mad that they're on the ground. Lovely stuff. Plus side, you know, learning occasion. But it's definitely a weird phase, for sure. You know, also I should probably point out the whole reason, another one of the reasons that I kind of want this to be the last part right here, is because I literally have a countdown timer that I have to keep going in the background. Because I got to go get this kid to learn how to use a toilet, so it's just like every 15 minutes. I get on the toilet and hope for the best. Literally have a gigantic prize bucket, which is like, if you manage to pull it off, here you go, have it gigantic prize bucket. As you do, as you do. You know, gotta keep all that positive reinforcement going. Actually, I had somebody suggest a while ago, like, oh, you need to go you need to go give them an iPad so that they so that they know that they get their iPad or whatever if they go in the dang thing. It's like, yeah, no, that didn't work at all. It's like, just let them use the thing, and then the response was just to more or less repeatedly try to sit on there as long as possible. Except they were so distracted that the moment anything wanted to happen, they would just... How do I even explain this? They would literally just sit there. It's like, oh, you know, everything's good, everything's good. Then they would actually have to go. They would get up off the toilet and go on the floor. It's like, oh, well, dang, that kind of defeats the purpose now, doesn't it? So, anyway. You know, perfect conversation that everybody wants to hear about. Let's see, how old Reese's Pieces, how my sister did it. Worked within 3 months. Let's see, about to be 2. So, definitely on the younger side of things, but we thought we'd go ahead and give it a try. See how stuff went. One of them kind of situations. Let's go after this guy. I think this was the healing guy. Plunk. But yeah, I mean, we know we're starting it early, but it just feels like a solid choice. She's basically learned everything else pretty darn early, so figured why not. Right, this dude don't like dying so good. Alright, he's a wizard, he might be kind of a threat. Goodbye. I mean, on the plus side, they were also using birds, so there's that. See, it's never too early for potty training, cost saving on diapers? Exactly. We burn through diapers like crazy. Alright, this is going to finish off one of my own guys, but it's pretty decent chucking damage. Good damage. Yeah, there we go. So that's that. We'll go ahead and consider the run complete-ish. So yeah, we'll be back doing this, doing the Griffin run. Yeah, once all the different formations and stuff go in. So yeah, we'll do that at that point. Thank you guys for stopping by. Gotta go get down to business here. Looks like I got 3 minutes 21 seconds here for the next stop. So here's how this went. They went ahead, they beat Gamp, they were basically free from enslavement forever, there really was no reason for them to continue the fight from here, and then they went to go live in Faramba. The end. Okay, have a great day. Bye.